Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this class. In this class, we will be considering this topic, partial derivative. So in this video, I will show you how to perform partial derivative of function, of a certain function given to you. So assuming that you have a function of two variables, u is a function of two variables x, y. Now we want to differentiate u. So you have to specify which variable you are differentiating u with respect to, because we normally differentiate a function with respect to the independent variable. Now the independent variable here is x and y, because u is a function of both x and y. So if I want to differentiate this function, I have to differentiate it with respect to either x or y, right? Because u, it depends on two variables. Assuming that I want to differentiate u with respect to x, see the notation: partial u, partial x. That's the partial derivative of u with respect to x. Is noted by, you can denote it in short form like this, or u subscript x, which means differentiate u with respect to what? X. Now to differentiate, if I want to show that, now the notation for partial derivative of u with respect to y will be this: partial derivative of u with respect to y, which is can be written in short form u subscript what? Y. So let's look at this example and see how we can perform partial derivatives. Now assuming that you are given a function of two variables x and y to be equal to, that u is a function of x and y, and is equal to cosine xy plus 3xy minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 2y. Then they ask to find u subscript x, that's partial derivative of this u with respect to x, u subscript xx, partial derivative of this u with respect to x, and you, after differentiating the first time, you are going to differentiate the second time again. That's, you differentiate two times. Partial derivative with u with respect to y, second partial derivative of u with respect to y, and this is partial derivative of u with respect to x and y, which means differentiate with respect to x, then after that differentiate with respect to y. So let's look at the solution to this problem. Let's write down what is given to us. So I've written down what is given to us, our u of x comma y. The first part is u subscript x. Let's u subscript x, that's differentiate u with respect to x. Now if you are differentiating u with respect to x, since we have two variables x and y, if you want to differentiate this function with respect to x, you are going to treat the other variable as a constant. Even if you have more than one variable, even if you have 3 variables, 5 variables, and you are differentiating with respect to one variable, you are performing partial derivative with respect to a particular variable, you are going to treat others as a constant. You know the derivative of a constant is 0. You know that, right? So now for this one, let's look at the derivative of each of the term with respect to x. Now we want to differentiate cosine xy with respect to x. What is the angle? The angle here is xy. Differentiate this. You are treating this y as just a number, just as if you are told to differentiate 2x. If you are told to differentiate 2x, what will be your answer? Your answer will be 2, right? If you are told to differentiate 2x with respect to x. Now I'm treating this y as a number, as a constant. I'm differentiating this with respect to x. So what will be my answer? Y. Because I'm treating y as a number, and I'm differentiating with respect to x. So now I got y times, you differentiate the trig. If you differentiate cos, what will you get? Negative sine, right? So I have negative sine x y, right, plus. So you now differentiate this with respect to x. You are treating y as a constant. You are treating y as just this 3, as a number. 3y, right? Then minus, let's not just, okay, then what is the derivative of this with respect to x? Differentiate this with respect to x, what will you get? We're going to have negative 4x. Now differentiate this with respect to x. Differentiate negative 3x with respect to x, what will you get? Negative 3. Then, now for the last one, for the last term, what do you have at the last term? 2y. Differentiate 2y with respect to x. Is there any x here? Is no x there. So this is just a constant. Derivative of a constant is 0. So that will give you 0. So basically, this what we'll have is, let's multiply this. This is negative y sine xy plus 3y minus 4x minus 3. So let's look at the second one now. The second one says, now u subscript x. The second one says u subscript x, second derivative. That is differentiate u with respect to x and differentiate u with respect to x again. Whereas differentiate with respect to x, we are going to it means differentiate this again with respect to x. So if you differentiate this again with respect to x, what will you get? So you come to this term. What's the angle of sine? Angle of sine is xy. Differentiate this with respect to x. You are treating y as a number, just like 2, 3. So if you differentiate this with respect to x, you get what? Y. Right? Now use the y to multiply. So I got y, I say y times. You now differentiate the trig, differentiate sine. What will you get? Positive cosine. But we have negative here. We have negative y. Then this will be cosine of xy. Then plus differentiate 3y with respect to x. This is just a number, a constant. You are treating y as a constant. So this will give you what? 0. Plus differentiate negative 4 with negative 4x with respect to x. You get what? Negative 4. Differentiate 3 with respect to x. Of course, you get 0. Because it's a constant. So this will be equal to what? Let's multiply this. Multiply this to get negative y squared cosine of xy minus 4. So this is the second derivative of our second partial derivative of our function u with respect to x. We differentiated, we've got the first derivative. This one is second derivative. We are differentiating this the second time. That's the meaning of this. Okay. We are done with that one. Let's look at I. Let's come to y. Right, let's look at I. Let's come to y. What is u subscript y? U subscript y is differentiate this, perform partial derivative of this u with respect to y. Now, we are differentiating with respect to y. So what are we going to do? We treat x as what? A constant, just as a number. Right? Treat this as a constant. Now, if you come here, what's the angle of cosine? The angle of cosine is xy. Now I'm treating this time around I'm differentiating with respect to y. I will treat x as what? A number, as a constant. Just like you have 2y now. So if you have 2y, if you want to differentiate this with respect to y, you know you are going to get 2. So as we have xy and we are treating x as a constant, if you differentiate this with respect to y, you are going to get what? X. So you get x times, what do? Times, to differentiate the trig, differentiate cos, what will you get? Negative sine. Negative sine xy plus, now differentiate this with respect to y. You are treating this as a number. Differentiate it with respect to y, what will you get? Just like if I ask you to differentiate 4y, what will you get? Is it not 4 you get? So this 3x I'm treating it as a constant. So if I differentiate 3xy with respect to y, I'll just get this constant 3x, right? Then differentiate negative 2x squared with respect to y. Is there any y here? No, no y. So this is just a constant. This derivative of a constant is 0. Differentiate negative 3x with respect to y. Is there any y here? No. The derivative of a constant is what? 0. Now, so this one, we are going to have 0 plus 0. Then for the last one, what do you have? 2y. So differentiate this with respect to y. What will you get? You get 2 plus 2. So what's my answer now? If I multiply this, I have negative x sine xy plus 3x plus 2. So that's the result, what we got. We have done u subscript y. We will do u subscript yy will be equal to what? You come here, differentiate this the second time with respect to y. This one we got is the first derivative of u with respect to y. That's this. You will now differentiate this one, this first derivative again. This one is second derivative. Differentiate, that's this. Differentiate once, differentiate again. We have differentiated once, that's this. We will differentiate this quantity again. That's the meaning of this. So let's differentiate this again. So come to sine. The angle of sine is xy. So differentiate xy with respect to y. You are treating x as a constant, just as a number. You get what? If you differentiate it with respect to y, you get what? X. So you now have x times negative x. Differentiate sine. What will you get? You get cosine xy plus differentiate 3x with respect to y, because 3x, there is no y there, so it's just a constant, you get 0. Differentiate 2 with respect to y, 2 is a constant, you get 0. So this is giving you negative x squared cosine of xy. So next one is, what is u subscript xy? U subscript xy. That's the next one I want to do. U subscript xy. So the meaning of this is you differentiate u with respect to x, then you differentiate u with respect to y. So we have already done u subscript x. We have already done it. So though I have cleaned it, I will write it. Let me write it here. What we got for u subscript x was so now we want to do u subscript xy. Now this thing I wrote down here is just what we have done earlier, the one I have cleaned. That's the partial derivative of, that's the first one we did, partial derivative with respect to x. I just rewrite it here. Now what is now u subscript xy, which means differentiate u with respect to x, then that result you got, differentiate that result with respect to what? Y. That's the meaning of this. So u subscript x is this. Now this is my result of the derivative with respect to x. This answer now, differentiate this now with respect to y. So if I differentiate it with respect to y, I'm going to use what? Product rule. Because I have y here and I have what? Y in the angle of what? Sine. So I'm going to use product rule. So I will differentiate this y and keep sine. If I differentiate y, I'll get negative sine xy plus, and I will now keep this y and differentiate sine. The angle of sine is xy. So if you differentiate xy with respect to y, you are going to get what? X. So you now do x times, we are keeping y, right? Negative y, and you have to differentiate the trig. Differentiate sign, what will you get? Cosine xy. So that's the what we are going to have there. So plus, what's the derivative of 3y with respect to y? You get 3. What's the derivative of negative 4x with respect to y? Y is not there, so this derivative will be 0. What's this derivative? 0, because they're constant. So this will just give you negative sine xy, negative xy cosine of xy. Cosine of xy plus 3. So this will give you the result of these very derivatives. So with this, we have gotten the respective derivatives we needed in this question. So thank you so much for being part of this class. See you in our upcoming class. Bye.